The road with Lake Forest Show House seems to be never ending. That road is very, very long. And I would say that I remember asking myself, is this ever going to end? And it was a nail biter. You know, we didn't know if we were actually going to finish this year. This show house was probably the most extensive renovation that I've ever taken on. And I can say with all certainty, having been involved as many as I have, that this was the most extensive. So we got invited to be a part of this project in October. So we were able to view the house, got into the house, understood exactly what the committee was looking for, as well as had a brief chat with the homeowners. That segued into us being chosen to actually doing the kitchen as a result of our reputation and of course the fact that we had a track record of success working on large scale projects. When we started the demolition of the house and looking at how the floor plan was going to be rearranged, we noticed that there were two very large masonry walls running through the middle of the house, especially specifically in the north wing. We also uncovered a third fireplace that we didn't realize was there and encountered a number of structural problems in the house, which actually was causing some major issues for the second and third floor because the roof was actually sagging. The actual roof is actually made out of clay tile. We had to deal with a number of structural issues. We had to deal with these two very large fireplaces that were in the way, and certainly we even had to remove one because unfortunately the way that we had arranged the rooms, since it was very complex, house was built in 1895, it's a very complex floor plan. This is the 2025 Lake Forest Show House and Gardens. It's a big project to undertake, especially given the compressed time frame. We usually only have from January until about mid-April to complete this project, and with us doing multiple spaces in the kitchen, multiple spaces on the second floor, crunch time right now, so I gotta get back to work. This is the same distance here as it is here, so centering on the elevator. So we only need one here and then one somewhere over there. I realized there was an alignment issue with the bathtub, so I had to get creative on how I was going to make sure that that bathtub was centered on that wall, because that's exactly what people are going to be judging and the first thing that they're going to see. As a result of some of the structural issues within the house, we also noticed that some of the ceilings were actually slanted. And that's not going to look right when you're putting your tile up to the ceiling, especially when you do any floor to ceiling tile, there's going to be some wonkiness up there. So we had to figure out how we were going to correct the ceiling, how we were going to make sure that that tub was centered. But of course, we also noticed that there were some plumbing issues within the house, and that in older homes, you're always going to find and discover that there might be some potential challenges and obstacles that you have to deal with. We are in the primary bath of the Lake Forest Show House. What we're standing in right now was the quadrant that housed the tub. It was a very small, undersized clawfoot tub. These two walls did not exist, and the goal was to try to create an area for the bathtub. Since we were limited on space and really there was a budget constraint to expand the bathroom, what we were trying to do is make sense of the spaces. So we ended up relocating the plumbing so we had a nice center tub and to create this area for it to sit within, which is what this quadrant is. As you move into this area, originally it was just a single sink in the center with some columns coming down. We've expanded the footprint of this area by stretching out, elongating the cabinetry to give them a nice double vanity with some additional cabinetry on the sides for storage. And then even here behind us is an area for linens. We're going to clad those front doors with mirrors to allow for it to feel a little bit more luxurious. But now we've created an additional quadrant for the bathroom. Enlarged the shower. It originally had a wall that you felt very enclosed, a little more like a cave. We've then recessed this wall back, and we're going to add a sizable amount of glass for us to get some of that additional light flow into this area. One special touch of this space that we feel is going to really enhance the overall experience is a lot of times you find in showers, people put a light above your head and it's kind of shining down on you. So what we've done instead is we've added a wall of quartz by Cambria that's going to be backlit. This backlit quartz is going to create this sort of mood lighting, and it's going to not blind you as you look up at the ceiling. In addition to the space behind is a nice cleverly placed niche in this wall where we're adding some additional cladding on the back there, and we're going to backlight this. The experience of the shower is going to feel a little different, going to feel very luxurious. We've obviously got your standard plumbing equipment. And to keep costs down, which is something we always try to do, we leave the commode in its present location, which is where it's going in this spot. But something that we wanted to add was another cabinet in here where they used to, kind of an outdated feature in a bathroom these days is a bidet toilet, separate from the actual toilet. So we're gonna actually have a combined toilet bidet combo, add an outlet at the back so they've got the electricity for it. But on this side, we're gonna create a vanity situation. Lighting has been enhanced. We're gonna be removing a lot of these can lights. They're just kind of all over the place. So to help enhance the mood and help enhance the aesthetic quality of the bathroom, we've added a junction box in the center that's gonna have a beautiful light fixture. We've added a junction box in the middle of the vanity for another one. And then of course, the sort of the effect of what you are going to feel when you walk into this room, which is the tub area, is a chandelier hanging right over you in the center of the room rather than one that would be over the tub. It's featured a lot in a lot of home shows and magazines, but here in Illinois, it's not to code, so we can't put a chandelier directly over a tub. So by modifying the light plan, by putting it in the center, we're still gonna allow us to get that dramatic feature in this space. There were a number of obstacles that we had to overcome with this show house. So, you know, unfortunately there's a large amount of traffic that's flowing into this house. Everything from the other designers bringing in their own teams of laborers through to having to bring in furniture and all of the various miscellaneous building materials. So, you know, when we're getting to that point of drywalling and seeing things come together, the moments where we're, you know, the nail-biting moments, right? Those times where we're feeling a lot of stress is when the finished materials for us actually are coming in, and right, how we're actually going to get those into the house. Is there going to be a limitation on the rooms that we can bring that furniture through? Is there going to be a point where maybe it won't fit into the house, but inevitably something's going to go wrong? And I'd say for the most part, we've been pretty fortunate with the Lake Forest Show House specifically, where everything comes together seamlessly. And I think the biggest thing that we have going for us is our relationships with our vendors is really solid. And we align ourselves with vendors who really know how to deliver an exceptional product. Then we get to those points where, as we're unpacking everything and getting all that furniture into the house, now we're tripping on some of the other contractors within the spaces. And that's where it becomes a little bit of a challenge for us, because now we got to all figure out how to not only play nice in the sandbox, but how we're going to work together and how we got to have enough space to be able to do our thing while everybody else in the show house is doing theirs, considering this is a pressure cooker situation of epic proportions, right? We're all trying to race to the finish line. We're all trying to get our stuff done. And of course, everybody's space is a priority, right? And we just have to learn how to work with each other. And it always works out in the end. And we're just very blessed and fortunate to work with Infant Welfare Society and the Lake Forest and Show House and Gardens, because the people that not only work for the organization itself, the volunteers who are on the committee, but all the designers and the professionals that work alongside us, we're all on the same team at that point. So you can see the primary bathroom, they just poured the floor. It does have a in-heat floor system, a little more complicated to get that type of coating on the floor and to dry. We really got to push these guys because, again, if we're going to get done by April 16th, that thing's got to dry fast. So hopefully we can figure out a way to expedite the drying time. With the Lake Forest Show House seems to be never ending. That road is very, very long. I remember walking down the driveway when they were having the preview party, realizing we did this. It's done. We're complete. I couldn't believe it. It was such a huge relief, and it was a nail biter. You know, we didn't know if we were actually going to finish this year. This show house was probably the most extensive renovation that I've ever taken on. Welcome to the primary bathroom of Lake Forest Show House and Gardens. I'm going to take you on a tour of this beautiful, luxurious primary bathroom, and this is, of course, no ordinary bathroom. We've got incredible finishes in this space, starting off with our living finish. This is an unlacquered brass. Over time, that finish is going to start patinaing. And of course, what we love to say about both marble and, of course, a living finish is that it does have that patina. That's something that we appreciate in a luxurious finish. Walking around here, we have mosaic tile flooring by Renaissance Tile and Bath out of Chicago. They were in collaboration with us on this project. And as we walk along here into our sink area, this is for your daily rituals. So we've got our tub area that's defined by an outline through to this area, which of course has showering behind me. We've got our Cambria countertops. Now this is a quartz surface. It is non-porous, something you don't actually have to worry about. And as if you think about when you're in your bathroom and there's toothpaste and hairspray and all those things that might accumulate on a countertop, it's really a good place to incorporate a solid surface in a luxurious bathroom like this. Cabinetry around us, we've got lots of really incredible features, both the two-tone, we've got our walnut drawer fronts, and of course our lacquered cabinetry incorporating mirrors on this that adds a little bit of depth to the space. And of course, now you can get a spot to check yourself out. Along this side, you're gonna notice the unlacquered brass faucetry continuing on and in through our shower area. Something that we did in this shower that's unusual is we didn't actually incorporate any overhead lighting. What we did instead was incorporated indirect lighting. And by use of their quartz countertop, we actually turned it vertically, and what we did was we made a feature wall that you could see is backlit. That backlit stone is going to allow for the shower to be illuminated without having that directional lighting shining down on your head. Let's go a little bit into detail on this cabinetry. So the cabinetry, as I explained earlier, is a two-tone. It's got walnut and of course a lacquer finish. But we incorporated this reeded front panel, which does two things. Number one, we don't have that awkward five-piece drawer panel along the front that is useless oftentimes, but it adds a decorative element that helps stylistically make it look more like that Art Deco period, again, influenced by Francis Elkins and David Adler. As we step back this way, we're gonna walk into the water closet. And again, the mindful placement of cabinetry in here is to help with storing some of those toiletries, but also giving you a ledge to incorporate some additional things that you might need within this space and keeping it out of the main space. Function was key in this space. So while we couldn't completely blow the place up, because we would have loved to have done that and started all over, there was a financial constraint here. So we had to make sure that we were delivering a luxury product that was also being financially responsible. So as you look around you, you're gonna notice doors above the vanity. And what this is for, all the accumulation of all those good products that end up on your countertop would go into this cabinet. Acts a little bit like a medicine cabinet. But of course, we've got tons of drawer storage. It's like drawers for days, to include anything from your hair dryer, curling iron, whatever it might be for those small appliances, through to making sure you have a base for your toothbrush. Walking into the shower, we've got our standard shower head, thermostatic valve with volume control, and of course your handy handheld. Now, like some people like to do car washes, this homeowner was a little less interested in the car wash. They just needed your standard equipment, but there's lots of space to spread out in here, and of course, a wonderful bench by Cambria that actually gives you an additional space for maybe some of those products that you might use, shampoo, soap, whatever, and our beautiful mosaic tile by Renaissance Tile and Bath. So now talking about jewelry. So we've got our unlacquered brass faucetry, but of course we have our unlacquered brass hardware. So this is all through Baldwin. We've got their knobs and pulls on all these doors and drawer fronts. In addition to, our shower doors have unlacquered brass handles and hinges that allow it to feel very stately and very uniform. Lighting was also a big part of our design feature within the space. You notice the backlit slab along the shower wall. We did some indirect lighting above there, but then we incorporated Hennepin Made's beautiful glass orbs that actually incorporated some elements of sophistication, but also a little bit of playfulness in this design. In the tub area, we felt like we didn't want to have an overabundance of light. We've certainly got a large window. So what we did is incorporated a beautiful chandelier by Hennepin Made in the center of the room. So by incorporating it into the space in the center of the room and adding a sort of a sophisticated palette here in this space adds to that luxurious finish. We also incorporated some integrated lighting in the niche. So again, getting away from that direct lighting that usually ends up over a tub. And if you're laying in your tub and you have a light above you, it's shining right in your eyes. So we wanted to make everything feel very balanced and mellow, and of course, a very comfortable environment for you to relax in. And I can say with all certainty, having been involved as many as I have, that this was the most extensive. So we're really excited that we pulled it off, and hopefully next year won't be so extensive, but if it is, hey, we're up for the challenge.